Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is October the 6th, 2024. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Let's see. Today has been solid. I got a little bit of a later start, but that's just because I had a good night. So hey, we love to see it. But yeah, I did some grocery shopping, did the gym. Let's see, and then now we're more or less here. More or less caught up on today. But let's see. Let's start with the food corner last night. I will say I went down to Northside, got to get back with my friends, hang out. It was nice. It was cool. We wound up going out we actually picked up some food, took it back to my friend's house, and we just all kind of ate. Went to Chameleon, but I got a meatball sandwich with an order of fries, and then I got a slice of pizza, pepperoni pizza. The sandwich was really good. The fries, of course, were awesome. I will say this is definitely one of the times where the pizza was kind of busted. Literally, like, almost half of it was, like, super burnt, like, to, like, a crisp. It was kind of crazy. But, like, hey, it happens, Overall, the pizza was edible. At least the slice was edible, so it was cool. So, yeah, we'd love to see that. Let's see here. And then we went out to the old tavern and hung out and had some drinks. Vibes were nice. It was cool. Actually wound up going then back to the house later, and we watched like wrestling, which was really cool. It's been a while since I had sat down and actually watched wrestling and the current state that it's in, especially in like a post Vince McMahon world. My friend was kind of like dropping some knowledge on me and stuff like that. I was like, okay, yeah, I like this. I like the new vibe. I like the new, entertainers, you can say, or performers, athletes, whatever. They're all of the above when it comes to wrestling. So it was just nice to see the scene. There was literally a dumpster match where you had to throw someone into a dumpster and close the lid. So that was wild. That was crazy. So yeah, I mean, we're more or less all caught up with. I do want to give a shout out to the homies, because I found out yesterday, learning that today apparently is Woolfest. I didn't look it up. I don't really have too much of the details, but apparently wool is related, and wool like accessories and festivities alike. So that's cool. Like sheep herding competitions or something to that effect. Apparently a lot of cool food. So hopefully my friends are having or have had a good time at Woolfest. Hopefully I'll get some reports about that. And if you've been out to Woolfest, I believe it's in Kentucky, let me know. Send me some feedback. I'd love to hear about that. Maybe I'll go one day. Who knows? Who can say? All right, let's go ahead and do our startup, and we'll go ahead and get into some news. All right. Yummy. Excuse me. From NBC News. Trump mixes somber remembrance with heated rhetoric in his return to Butler, Pennsylvania. So he's back. Guess he's back. Former President Donald Trump set the stage for a bruising final month of the presidential campaign during a return visit to the Pennsylvania venue, where gunmen attempted to assassinate him this summer. The trip was Trump's latest to the Keystone State, which is shaping up to be the most pivotal in this election cycle. As the rally was ongoing, Trump's campaign announced 2 additional Pennsylvania events at which the former president would appear in coming days. He bashed the federal response to Hurricane Helene, which is like, in some regards, it's understandable. You're definitely hearing like stories of like people getting very meager stipends in like the very desperate time of need. But at the same time, it makes me very frustrated because if you're buying the shit that he's selling you, you're making it seem like Trump would have done something more for you. That is not likely. Very much so, he would be doing the same thing that the Biden-Harris administration is doing, which is also funding a bunch of foreign countries and a bunch of bullshit-ass wars instead of worrying about people at home. That is a very constant American motif, sadly. I think another big thing worth mentioning, I mean, there's a whole lot of screed that he goes into that's a regular staple at the rally. There's some other Goonies that show up, like J.D. Vance, his friend Steve Witkoff, who was there during his second potential assassination attempt that got busted. But really, the main keystone guy there outside of Trump, who came in jumping for joy, screaming that he was dark MAGA or whatever, was X's very own Elon Musk. He made himself corporal in the real for Pennsylvania to implore people to get out and vote and, to drag their friends to the ballot box. Like, he's trying to do his Taylor Swift impression for, the conservatives. I mean, sure, I'm sure it resonates with them to an extent, but it's like, dude, this dude is so fucking corny. Like, he came out with a literal, like, dark MAGA hat on, and then did, like, this weird little jump, and people were gushing over it online, which I think is very weird and odd. I will say people on my side of the internet were not so much, they thought it was very cringe. But hey, I guess if it made him happy, made him feel good, then good for him, good for them, like I said, he's back in a big way, like he never left. Excuse me. They did also give remembrance to, I'm sure I'm going to say his name wrong, but Corey Compertor, which I did listen to interview with his wife, and it was sad. It was definitely like moving. But it was just one of those things, too, and this isn't, for me to, like, speak ill of the dead or whatever, but, like, they're trying to say all these somber, nice things about him, but, like, this dude was, like, a Trump supporter to the core, you know what I mean? He was very happy to be there. He was making jokes like, yeah, I'm going to be on the stage with, like, I guess you got your wish, brother. I don't know, because I gave him a shout-out, so that's dope, I guess. Maybe you'll shake hands with him in heaven one day or wherever you think y'all are both gonna go. I don't know, man. Like, it just seems odd, but I get it. Like, I imagine the family, this feels nice, so I guess there's that. I'm not trying to yuck people's yum, I guess, in that regard. But I was worried that this was gonna be like the October surprise moment. I'm still looking for it. But in a way, I'm very glad that this happened earlier in August and not later in October. I'm glad it's happening like this weekend as opposed to like, I don't know, 2 weeks from now or so. I mean, granted, we still have some weeks to go. Time to burn for sure for something to come up. But I do think this is going to be something that's going to be a distant memory, a week or so from now. I don't think he has that like holy reverence or whatever. So there's that. But once again, I'm still kind of holding on to my last prediction, where I do kind of think that Trump's got the juice, man. I don't know, man. I hope I'm wrong. I keep saying that. I really hope I'm wrong here, but I don't know. But we'll see. I'll definitely keep you posted. Like I said, there's more details, but like, fuck it. This is like all really a fucking nothing burger. I haven't covered any of the rallies for real for Harris because it's just like the same thing, just a liberal version, right? Like, you're just trying to do the things to arc your base, get them excited. I know I heard some random like headline where it's like, oh, she's going to be doing a media blitz of sorts, like in terms of just like putting out a bunch of ads and blah, 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 yada. But like, we'll see how things go for sure. I'll be there to keep you posted. Now let's move on to the music world. The shift. I don't know the word I'm looking. Shift gears. There you go. Next story comes from Uproxx. Swizz Beatz has been accused of receiving $7.3 million in stolen funds connected to the One Malaysia Development Berhad scandal. According to reports, Swizz Beatz money is looking funny. The famed producer versus co-founder and loving husband to Alicia Keys has supposedly been named in an international fraud scandal. Based on a lawsuit filing obtained by All Hip Hop, Swizz Beatz received a whopping sum of $7.3 million in stolen funds connected to the One Malaysia Development Berhad scandal. It's also referred as the 1MDB, which is probably how we're going to refer to it for the rest of this article. Let's see. In the paperwork, it's alleged that Swizz Beatz, whose real name is Kasim Dean, which I gotta say here, throughout this article, they go back and forth between saying Swizz Beatz and Dean, which then becomes very disorienting, like we're talking about two different fucking people, but it's the same fucking guy. Anyway, and I should know this, I remember Swizz Beatz growing up, listening, oh, okay, he's on the beat, all right, cool. But like, man, I didn't know who Kasim Dean was. He never used that fucking name. Anyway. But this brought up a name that I think we've actually talked about before. Kasim Dean was tied back to Jho Low as far back as 2010, as the 1MDB fraud was underway. Jho Low became a well-known figure in the Hollywood scene and developed a reputation as a businessman with deep pockets and a penchant for hosting lavish, star-studded parties and group vacations, reads the suit. Throughout the early 2010s, Low befriended many U.S. celebrities, including Dean and his wife, Alicia Keys, between September 21st, 2012, and September 4th of 2014. Jho Low and Eric Tan caused the debtors to transfer $7,300,000 to defendants, and during that same time period, the debtors did not receive any money back from the defendants or any other consideration from the defendants in exchange for the fraudulent transfers. The breakdown of funds supposedly sent to Dean, include a $1.5 million payment to Swizz Beatz Productions Incorporated in September of 2012, as well as a $1 million, then additional $800,000 transfer deployed in October 2012 by Alison Chance. In addition to that, Dean's Monza Studios is accused of receiving $800,000 in 2013 and $1 million in December of 2013 from Affinity sent $800,000 to Swizz Beatz in Monza Studios in November of 2013 and $1 million in December of 2013. Outside of that, the filing alleged that Dean was personally sent $500,000 in June, $300,000 in July of 2014, both are in 2014, I'm sorry, and $1.4 million in September of 2014. So that's a lot of money moving around, and I feel like that's not a good look if they can trace that and they're saying, that's coming from Low or Low's associates to you. That doesn't look good. And something I wanted to mention, just like the tie that, like, how does this podcast, how do we as the audience that has been kind of keeping up, how do we know him? It's through Praz from the Fugees. So he had got caught up in a whole fucking thing with Jho Low. Also some other actors that we've kind of talked about on this pod who have been. Leonardo DiCaprio is a big one, mainly because of the Wolf on Wall Street. So I guess we can add, Martin Scorsese, because Low funded the project. He was buddy-buddy with everybody, was really chilling, partying, having a good-ass fucking time with the money. But essentially, it was all ill-gotten gains from shit like this, from this one MDB shit. Let's see here. Now liquidators are seeking damages in the amount of $3.3 million from Swizz Beatz Productions, $1.8 million from Monza Studios, and then $2.2 million from Dean himself. The filer is also demanding that Dean cover attorney fees and other court costs. Swizz Beatz has not yet addressed the lawsuit. So there we go. That was something that kind of hit my line, and I was like, okay, all right. And I realized, like, okay, Jho Low part 2, he's still kind of, the specter of that shit is still in the air, you know what I mean, in terms of like the celebrities that, let themselves kind of buy into this or let themselves kind of get roped in with it, because it's like, oh man, I mean, if you're gonna fund my shit, you're gonna like sponsor my project or keep my pockets lined, I got no problem with you, whatever, man. I'm not gonna ask any questions. Meanwhile, this money was supposed to be going to fucking Malaysia. Also, yeah, 1 MDB. I don't know if I said that wrong earlier, probably, but whatever. Let's move on to our last story. I'm cutting it a little shorter today. I figured, why not? Last one's going to come from Daily Mail. Once again, a bit of a, I don't want to say update, but like another character we've talked about before. He's in the nexus of news that we've covered for sure. It's a bit of an odd update. I didn't see him coming out of the woodwork in a metal festival, but I mean, hey, here we are, about to talk about it. Let's go ahead and do our last break, and we'll get into it. All right, macaroons. Bands withdraw from music festival after Kyle Rittenhouse is added to the lineup, leaving cover act as headliner. Very, very strange, just series of events in terms of this add-on here, in my opinion. A music festival in Florida has lost their headliner and dozens of other bands after announcing that Kyle Rittenhouse would appear as a special guest. Shell Shock 2, a heavy metal festival, was set to take place in Orlando later this month with Evergreen Terrace as a headliner and dozens of other bands. But after the shooter was revealed as one of the show's guests on a now deleted post shared on Reddit, bands said they were dropping out in protest, the Rolling Stone reported. Ooh, excuse me. Rittenhouse has become a figure of controversy when he was acquitted of all charges after shooting dead 2 people at a racial injustice protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin in 2020. Now, for him, he was saying, I was going to defend businesses, and in the process of doing that, I had to defend myself against a guy with a skateboard, and I just used my AR-15 and I blew him away, in self-defense, of course. And he cried, and he blubbered, and, they let him go. They let him go. Just let him get away with that shit. It was cool, man. Like, cool for your self-defense. So, I guess because this charity is here to support veterans, responders, and responders struggling with PTSD, Kyle Rittenhouse would make a perfect guest for a talking head, because he's not gonna do any kind of fucking spoken word. This dude's no Henry goddamn Rollins. What the fuck? He's not doing anything. He's not showing up for shit. I don't understand why the person organizing this shit would go out of their way to put him on there. It just doesn't make sense. It does not add up unless you're saying, well, we're attracting a conservative crowd here, and I wouldn't mind seeing a Rittenhouse. I'm talking as the organizer here. So sure, why not? And I also found it funny because I was just kind of doing some surfing, and I heard a quote from, I believe, the owner, or once again the organizer, whatever, who called the bands who were dropping out woke pussies or something like that. And I'm like, dog, you're the one who's choosing to make this thing more political than it even fucking has to be. This is a charity that's supposed to go to veterans and people who are struggling with PTSD, responders, whatever. That's a good thing. That's fine. Shit, I don't think anyone has a problem with that. I think all the bands signed up with that being in a knowledge, acknowledged thing. Okay, we're down. We're okay with that. You even see here with the fucking poster, it's got the flags, it's got the little blue flags, it's got the little red flag. I guess it's supposed to show balance, with the little stripes, little blue line. And you know what that blue line means? I don't know. But I'm fine with this just being a music thing and the charity is what it is, whatever. But it is disruptive to have someone like Kyle Rittenhouse there. He's not providing any kind of musical service. So to me, I completely get why bands are going to be yeah, this isn't worth the fucking wait here. No, thank you. And so they dropped out. And it's just once again, weird on the fucking operator for queuing it up for that. Let's see here. I wanted to scroll and at least get one of the quotes here. Yeah, we'll just read the quote from Evergreen Terrace. I feel a lot of the other quotes are pretty similar. Evergreen Terrace took to Facebook to further explain their decision. Excuse me. Wow. Evergreen Terrace took to Facebook to further explain their decision and share that they respectfully cancel the Shell Shock Festival. Evergreen Terrace has always supported and continues to support philanthropic events for veterans, PTSD awareness, child poverty, and many more. But we will not align with any event promoting a perceived murderer, such as capitalizing off their pseudo-celebrity. Ooh, real, the post said. As advocates of free speech, we are respectfully canceling the Shell Shock Festival. We will be personally contributing to veterans charity and urge you to do the same. Lines we draw in the sand depend on where we stand, the post concluded. So there you go. Like I said, I feel like overall other bands that made statements pretty similar to this, and to me that makes sense. Like, that doesn't seem crazy. That doesn't seem fucking odd. You signed on to this thing. It makes sense. This is music for this cause. Why are you adding talking heads that don't make fucking sense? And like, don't get me wrong, I get it. It's a festival. Like, you're gonna have maybe some different abject things or whatever. If you want to add like maybe some like funny comedian and like he doesn't have like a knack for like doing dumb ass fucking political jokes, maybe I don't know. That's more of a gray area that maybe you could slip through and get through the cracks there. But like at the end of the day, everybody know who the fuck Kyle Rittenhouse is. I know I'm saying that funny, but everyone knows who that motherfucker is. You know what I mean? We've seen that shit. It's not new. So like trying to make this play just didn't make sense. It was a really odd political move, dude. And like it just goes to show how cringe it is that like Kyle Rittenhouse is like the Haley Welsh of like what, a year or so prior, like, except like Haley Welsh is like working because at the end of the day what she was doing was not fucked up weird, you know, shit. She just said hop to a spit on that thing, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, Kyle Rittenhouse is like struggling to be relevant, going to any college campus he can, any fucking apparently metal festival that will take him. Like, dude, when are we gonna hang it up, bro? When are we just gonna go back to just regular old life, dude? Like, just stop, man. Like, you've already done enough damage to this fucking world. Can't you just like become some fucking car salesman or something? Bro, like, shit, didn't he already try being a podcaster? Isn't that thing still a thing? Like, I don't know, man. It's just cringe core behavior. I really wish my dude would just fucking put his rifle down. I don't know, man. Just fucking hang it up, brother. But hey, it is what it is. I am happy to see these bands just say, fuck it, we're not gonna participate in this shit. It's not worth it. You know, they're gonna support and do their thing. But yeah, we love to see that shit, at least over here. I'll leave it at that for the day. No shilling. We don't need to do that. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.